to Bridles, Bits and Bottles. I'm Anna.
I'm Emily.
And tonight, what are we going to chat about? Breeding horses.
Breeding horses, but we're just going to...
No more people.
Or anything else. Let's say kind of like in the month of January. Let's do it by month. So we're in January at the moment. Mm-hmm. What goes on in January for us as sport horse breeders?
So for me, the last 3 months with mares that are in foal, say, well, when I start upping everything, I up feed, I up everything with them. Now mine are in, yours are out.
Well,
they're in and out.
They're in and out, yeah.
Mine are in.
Mine can do what they want. They can go into the barn, they can stay out in the yard, they can go down the track.
Yeah. Yours have more freedom. Actually, it's a nice setup. I'd like something like that, but they'd have more, but it's just the way we're set up. We can't at the minute, you know.
Most people have them in tiny sheds, like shows have a bit more room.
No, they've loads of room, But I usually start feeding them. It's not paid partnership, but I start usually giving them the breeder syrup and things now. Yes. Breeding robust. Yeah. I start upping everything in the last.
That's plus Vital.
Yeah.
I actually use it as well.
Oh, it's
either the breeder syrup or the sport syrup.
Yeah. It's brilliant.
The Karen oil, and at the moment I'm feeding the Gain stud cubes. I was checking the different percentages of nutrients in all of them, and I give that and a bit of sugar beet pulp.
I do red mills now.
I do the same thing though. One of them is due at the end of March, so hers has been upped. The other one's not due till July. She's kind of on the same, and the other one's barren, but she's a bit lighter, so she gets a bit more.
Yeah.
I don't feed, don't lynch me, by what's on the back of the packet.
No, I don't.
When they say feed 5 kg, I'm like, if that's fat, it's not getting 5 kg.
Yeah, no, I don't either,
If the weather's good, they don't get 5 kg.
Yeah.
I feed more, I feed less, depending on the weather. And I know everyone says, but to get the full nutrients you need to, but...
Look, I personally
think... They kind of tell you.
Once they get fodder, it's all about the forage. Yeah. If they're getting enough of that, and then you're adding into it, or they've a good a good nutrient block. Yeah. Then like the Nutri-Block I find is very good, or the Red Mills one.
Yes. Yeah.
What I find, if they've access to those, they do very, very well. As their feed.
Because mine are free, as in they can come and go as they want. Like, if they're not hungry, they just won't come up.
Oh no, they won't.
They'll stay down the bottom of the field and they just look at you.
Yeah.
You know, and they only come up if they're hungry, or if the weather's going to be bad, they come up and they're looking. And I don't have set feed times.
Yeah, I kind of do, but that's just the way it worked out.
Most yards do, but I don't.
But then it depends on work for you, you see.
Yeah,
hours could change.
Yeah, I go out, and if they're hungry, I feed them. If they're not, they're not. If they're not up, they don't get fed. If they come up later, I look out and I see them and I might feed them. Yeah. But then I don't have anyone standing at the gate pawing or looking, because they've always got food.
You see, but they always have access to the hay bale.
Always.
And that's what I think is a big thing with those mares. They have to have a constant. Yeah. It doesn't have to be big buckets of feed, like full to the brim. They have to have constant forage. Yeah. And like I said, access to mineral licks.
And I think
things that they might be deficient in, that they can find it.
Yeah, come in January, come this time of year, you know, the hay could already be some of it like 6-7 months old. It's important to have good hay.
Yeah.
Like normally the horses that have gained the weight during the summer, you know, we've talked about rugs on, rugs off or whatever, but if the weather's good, I always take the rugs off and I always check them. Nearly daily, actually. I could have my rugs on and off 3 or 4 times a day. That's how ridiculous I am. But I'll check the mare and see what they're like, and you often see come kind of that end of January, February stage, they start to lose a bit of weight, where the hay is not quite so good. Yeah. So you do then have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, you have to, of course, but you're watching them.
So that's what I'd be looking for at this time of year, is weight loss.
Yeah, where's the weight gain, where's the weight loss, is there any changes in the eyes? That's what I'm always watching. Yeah. The eyes nice and bright still, or the coat's nice and fluffy, they're not gone dull in them.
No, we wouldn't be covering it this time of year, because we're like more sports horse breeders, but the turbine industry would. No foals in a stable having to, I'd rather them out into grass as soon as they can. Yeah, instead. So the earliest we'd be kind of expecting them would be the end of March, April. Mine are normally mid-March on.
Mine are normally,
if I can get them that
early May. If I get them in foal, I like to get them for early May, mid-May. That time, I like them falling around then.
So say if I'm weaning anything actually, say they're late born, they're June, July, well end of June, July, August, which happens sometimes. You're weaning them at this time of year, so then you have to separate the foals and you have to check the mare. I'd be checking the mare daily for any signs of like mastitis or anything like that. Checking the foals okay, checking for rain rot. That's another one at this time of year. And I also try to keep mine out as long as possible. The days are only getting slightly longer. A lot of people use light masks, but I don't.
I don't know.
But I do find if they're out, like generally mine start, touch wood, cycling by mid-March, and by April they're in a proper cycle.
Do you know what's
but
interesting?
But they're not in.
But what's interesting, you say that now. I've noticed the mares, not the brood mares now. The mares up in the delivery side, say the jumping side, as I say, the barn side, they're starting to cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been
I
very
think
warm.
It's the mild weather. Yeah.
It's been very warm.
They are starting to cycle. You'd see the hormones going on out that field.
There's a few squeaks alright up above.
Yeah, there's a few squeaks and there's a few faces been pulled and
what about worming at this time of year?
Because we do egg counts.
Yeah.
On everything.
And?
That's the way we do it. Take dung samples going into the winter. Tapeworm I'll do for alright.
But there was one kind of
it
was half frosty day, but it wasn't. So I haven't done that, and I think this is like the latest year I've ever done it.
Yeah, no, tapeworm will all be done. Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little bit controversial here, but I've always used Pramox, but this year
Pramox.
Yeah, the one with the praziquantel moxidectin. No, not the green one, the blue one. The Pramox.
Yes, the blue one's the Pramox.
The blue one, which would be praziquantel and moxidectin.
Yes.
So moxidectin is for the encysted red worm.
Yes.
But this year I've gone with the Ivapraz, the praziquantel and ivermectin, which is the same as the Equest.
Yeah.
To do the tapeworm, but not do the encysted red worm. Because I'm going to do the 5-day fenben instead.
Oh, yeah.
I found that the Pramox, you're supposed to use it in foals that are over 6 months.
Yes.
I nearly waited a longer time.
I've used the Equest, but not the Pramox.
It's tough on him.
It is tough.
I used it on a colt and he was about, I'd say it must have been about 9 months old.
I have nearly waited to a yearling for Pramox. I've nearly waited to a yearling for Pramox.
Yeah. So
I've done the others. Equest I've used, not the Pramox, just the green one.
But the only one does the encysted red worm is something with the moxidectin or a 5-day course of fenbendazole.
The 5-day will do it. There's a lot of things you can't use when Mare's pregnant, and I hate kind of saying
the Pramox you can.
I'm very PC when it comes to this because we have the online store, and I'm always like, I have to check the box.
Here's me being Belle saying, well,
Emily's like this, and I'm like, I often say if you're just not sure and your mares aren't have had a nice worming program, just wait.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah.
Well, do your egg counts.
Just do your egg counts
and your saliva test for the tapeworm.
Yeah, I think you're just better off to treat for tapeworm though, at least once a year.
They say I think it has to be 6 months, but I think if they haven't been anywhere,
it's every 6 months, but at least once a year.
Yeah.
And do your egg count because honestly, there's so much resistance now.
Overuse as well.
Like they're now seeing resistance in foals been born.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a new thing now.
Well, I'd always worm.
That is crazy.
This is off the January thing. I'd always worm the mare the week before she foals. When you think she's really close.
Yeah.
With just ivermectin, the easiest one.
Just an easy one.
And it helps. Well, it's supposed to help like with the kind of like the roundworm, and then every 4 weeks after that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I did have to do one with a 5-day course of fenben. This year she just wasn't looking great.
But she was fine on it.
Oh yeah, not bothered. The overdose level is very, very high.
Okay.
Very, very high. So
you kind of can't get it wrong.
No.
Yeah, you can't.
Not if you keep to what it says, and you can do it for the 5 days.
So coming into, let's say, February, March, some of you are going to start having foals.
Yeah.
This is really Emily's area. I kind of just float along with the breeding. I do breed. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? I just float along with the breeding. But Emily's very, very good on it. You're really, really, really well up to.
I don't know. I try.
I know you are. You're very good on it. And then March, I usually start trying to pick stallions now, based on the foals that we have had.
Yeah.
Every year. That's how I do it. I base it on the mare and what foal she has. I'm not too into the commercial.
Just the commercial stuff.
Yeah, I like to breed that way because in case I get left with the foal.
Yes.
I
December,
want
January
to
is a
ride.
good
It's a
time
good
to
time to
look
start
at
thinking.
because
And there's younger stallions coming up, and there's
Yeah.
I know you'd use you wouldn't be using as many younger stallions too often,
no.
but that's as I said, I don't do as much commercial breeding. I'd be trying to breed for something for myself or to produce a little.
Yeah, I need to breed something that
Sells.
I can sell, or if I'm keeping, that is rideable.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't matter how commercial it is. If it's going to be a nutcase, you can forget it. And there's certain lines that I wouldn't breed to because I like to keep the fillies, and if I had to keep them,
I'm the same. I breed thinking if I'm going to get a filly out of this, because I like to keep fillies, what is this going to be like? Is it going to be, can't wait to see her head pop over the door, or is it, I hope her head doesn't pop over the door this morning?
Yeah.
No, that's awful.
But
so
that's a great time actually. Yeah, December, January. Look at stallions.
Look at your stallions.
Look at their weight. If you're weaning, watch the mare.
Do an egg count if you can.
Would it be kind of EHV the second injection of that? What it would be, 6 months in, 9 months in, 9 months. We'd be coming up to it like a couple of months' time. Be thinking about it.
Yeah, 9 months. Yeah, you would be.
Yeah, and apart from that, really, there's not much else going on.
No, there isn't. And I suppose then when you're coming into your foaling, then you're in a different situation altogether.
Or waiting for passports.
Oh, don't get me started on the passports.
Have a drink there, Anna, because Jesus.
It's a toast.
Have you got all your passports
I got 2 passports back.
Out of
3. That's good going.
That's good.
I only got 1 last week. I did send them
last
off
week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christ. I got 2. No, I got 3 out of 4.
But it's this new system is a big problem. I got it back that the samples off of the same mare and her foal were not good enough. And I mean that vet ripped off the tail out of that poor animal. And I don't think it wasn't good enough. I think it's taken too long to process it and that there's issues.
I think it was left.
It's left there.
In the office too long before it gets and it's got too warm.
That's what I think.
Because my samples that went off in June, all those passports came back September, October time.
Yeah, fine.
Ready for the horses to go. The one that I sent in September, I sent end of August.
Yeah.
Needed new ones because obviously that was when the influx was. Sent new ones, followed up, nothing. So even if I sold it, and this is the thing where it costs the small breeders so much money because you can't sell the horse. Like it can't go out of the country.
Can't leave the country.
You can leave you could get a leisure horse passport, send it off, and then follow up with the green one.
Yep.
But it's such a hassle, and you're paying €200 to register foals.
The money this year to register
foals. And like I always do it is that I keep them until 5 or 6 months until they're weaned for nothing. As in like I'd have to keep them anyway.
It's part of.
So if they're bought in utero, like you might pay a deposit, but you don't need to pay for the foal, or if the foal's not born alive, like you get your deposit back because it's that's just that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once it's born, then you get it insured or whatever. And I keep them up until 5 or 6 months. All the food, all the worming, all the farrier is included because I'd have to pay that anyway.
Yeah, but there's some work in them, like and then
but
then
after
you can't
that,
get them out.
After that, 5 months plus, the agreement is if they need to stay with me, they're on foal livery. So I'm being paid to keep them because I don't want them at home.
Yeah.
And then, if you don't have a passport, how would you expect?
But you can't expect
someone to pay livery.
It's not their fault.
So I'd say I've lost like €400 or €500 every single year for the last couple of years, where the passports aren't back in time, and I've got foals sitting here. The owners want them gone. They want them home. Yeah. I want them gone, and I can't send them no passport, and I can't charge the owner.
But the thing
it's a lot of money, Anna.
But this year's the worst.
This year's the worst year.
But is it this new change?
No.
The DNA.
No, because didn't 14 of them leave up there or something? Maybe I should drink less wine.
Could be going into Barry's here. Please don't hold my passports. Send me mine. You can keep hers.
Well, send me my one because I just like looking at it. He's not sold. No, but the people up there, when you get them on the phone, let's be really honest now, I've seen comments and things and people aren't happy, but every time I've spoken to someone, they're helpful. I've gone up there.
I have to say
helpful.
they are helpful.
The emails, they're helpful.
Yeah. But I think it's the process is the problem.
The process is totally broken.
Yeah.
Totally
It shouldn't be hard.
But it's costing me money.
Yeah.
And that's what the rant is about. The rant is about it's costing me so much money.
But who had it up? Was it Ronan Rothwell had it up the other day? Shed full of fools. No passports back. All sold from the auction he had. That's and like
you're talking thousands then.
But you're terrified something's going to happen to them.
Yeah, that's why you don't want them.
That's what my fear
out
would be.
the door.
Something fucking happened to them, and then where do you? I know they own them, but still, it's costing you. You want them gone. You don't want something to happen to them. You don't want to ring them, say they've died, they've broken a leg, they're gone for surgery. You have to, anything goes wrong, they have to go for a surgery or a vet call. You have to get through to an owner. It's an awful ordeal.
And I love the youngsters. It's my favourite age. I love having them around the yard. But as soon as they're sold, like
you'd be just terrified.
Out the gap.
Yeah, and I think it's
fair play to the people that do the raising.
But I think it's a case of Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah,
do you know?
True.
But can I have another little rant? Maybe I shouldn't be. Because we could be heading this way.
Go on, what are we talking about first?
I was going to talk about the inspections for the stallions.
Will we wait for another way episode to do that?
Yeah. I'm not cross at you, but I wish they'd come out and see the younger horses like they do in England. That's my only thing. I can go into this further. I just think it's a lot of testosterone in one place. Yeah. It's hard on the babies.
It is hard on the babies up there. It is.
They do it in England. Breeders Elite come out and view the stallions. And they do it from their home. I think it's brilliant.
Because that's how, the stallion is. And they might act differently when they're out and about.
But they're babies. These are unbroken. Now, I obviously have a bias with that at the minute. But I still think...
You're lucky your fella's, a little bit sensible.
No, he is sensible.
He's been brought up like a horse, not like a stallion.
Yeah, no. But
you're halfway there.
It's funny because a friend of mine has gone through Breeders Elite in England with a colt who was a baby. It's not a rant at Horse Sport Ireland. I'm just talking about
what you would like.
Linking in with that whole breeding thing. Isn't it a pity they don't come to see the babies in their own environment instead of bringing them up with 30 odd older stallions, young stallions, a mix of everything, and it's just testosterone party. Do you know what I mean? It's very hard for them.
Yeah, it is really hard.
I know they go out in competition and all, but the babies don't. The babies aren't in competition. They're not used to that.
It takes them a while to get there. Like, you could bring a horse out and it can act like a complete and utter pain in the hole for the first 5 or 6. And then it's like, oh yeah.
It's like taking a 2 or 3 year old child out to public, to a restaurant for the first time.
It's great crack, let's just try it.
That's what you're asking us to do, Horse Sport Ireland, with young stallions. That's all it quotes.
Is that your rant over now?
That was my rant. Can you just set up something where, fix the passports, come out and view the young horses?
I'll take a wine away, so we'll have no more rants.
It's not a mean rant.
No,
it's just like that. We're
it's like with the
breeding.
Yeah.
It's like.
It's not the people. It's not the people. It's the process.
It's a process, and it's a broken system all around. I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the way we do things, we're doing them very old-fashioned.
Yeah,
aren't we?
I suppose a bit of
Like the passports used to come back so fast years ago. Emily.
Well, if you use any other stud book, they do.
Yeah.
If you use Leisure Horse Ireland, they're back with the same DNA within 2 weeks. Just the book is white, exactly the same thing, full DNA registered. None of this swapping over to a stud book where you don't need a DNA. You could just tell them, oh, I bred to this, and they give it to you.
And I don't think blaming Weatherbees is right either. They're just doing it.
No, it's not right at all. I've often rang Weatherbees, and the Weatherbees like, no, we done it.
Yeah, no.
There's no problem with the turbans. Imagine doing that with the turbans, not having the passports back. What they'd say.
Yeah, I think though you're right. I think it's a manpower issue. It's not enough manpower in a good process.
The process is wrong.
We need Ryanair in there.
with their brilliant TikTok social medias, because
they will get the horse industry going, lads. Cheaply.
Imagine the social media. They'd be like having your passport. They'd be just like shredding it. Have you seen them? It's like, I want a window seat. Yeah.
But you know what I mean, though. That system, cut it all down. Basics.
If you just have to pay for everything, then you'd have to pay for every page.
You'd have to pay for your trimming. Please don't do that to us.
Take the Ryanair back. Aer Lingus maybe?
Aer Lingus.
KLM. I like KLM. KLM.
Have flown with them.
They're nice.
Okay, well we'll go with
For
KLM.
Europe. Okay.
Yeah, but we do need a system in there.
There needs to be something. But sure, it's been broken for years, like.
It is. It's broken for years. It's just hard to know how they're going to fix it. I think it's getting worse.
Yeah.
Will they restart it all again?
It is. So yeah,
that's my for. It wasn't Shojin. It was.
IHL. No, I don't know. It doesn't even really matter.
It's very confusing.
But
just get the passports back, please.
I just want my passport. Yeah.
Yeah, I have mine, but I'm waiting on one.
You've one left. Yeah, I've one left as well.
Yeah.
But I know people are waiting for a lot.
There it is. Yeah.
But anyway, so that's January. Waiting for passports, weaning foals, weight checks, rug checks, EHV, stallion lookings.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Worm it because it's gonna freeze.
Yes. And the other thing I would say to people is, if you like a stallion, just still go and visit other places.
Yes.
Because sometimes seeing them in person, in real life, is very different seeing them on videos. And some of them are much nicer in real life.
Definitely.
Much nicer, and you might change your mind. I think actually those open days, go and view what's there, even if you're not sure it's something you want to use or not. You get a great idea of what's out there.
Nice to see them all.
It is nice to see them all. Yeah, it is nice to see them all.
Because Jesus, I can make photos look good. Anyone can make photos look good, but when you see them, you know, they might look a bit this way or that way or this way.
Yeah,
or
and some of them are way nicer.
Yeah.
Some of them are like people; they're just not photogenic, no matter what you do with them.
Yeah.
They're like myself.
Hang on. Yeah. Right, guys, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for joining us.
Bye bye.